Hello, welcome back to the tutorial series on how to make the VFX for the One Piece video I've done. Last time I showed you how to set up the environment in Blender in order to put a 3D model in the scene that you have shot. And in this second part, we'll keep working on this white shot. We are gonna make some smoke and have it turn around the characters. So this is where we left from last time. We have managed to put a 3D model in the scene and make it fit with the environment that we have shot. So close this. First of all, we need to organize this part here. We are gonna add more and more stuff in the scene, and we don't want to be confused about what is that cube, what is the cube 001, what is the plane. So we need to organize them and rename everything properly. So create a new collection, call it proxy. Add those cubes that represent the characters. This one, it's the one on the left, so call it car L. The other car right, car R. This one, that's the ground, so create a new collection for the ground. Move it there and rename it ground shadow. And we don't need to see the 3D model anymore, and let's disable the proxies as well. And now we start with something fresh. Okay, now smoke simulation. To begin with, let's do something very basic, and we will see how we can change it to fit with our needs. So Shift A, create a sphere, and it has put the sphere in the ground. So create a new collection actually for the smoke as well. Call it smoke and move the sphere there. And it's gonna be our emitter, so call it emitter. Okay. And in order to get a simulation, we need to have a emitter and we need to have a domain. The simulation happens inside a domain. So domain is gonna be a cube. Shift A, cube. Scale it up. The domain should be big enough to cover our scene, but not too big so that we can save some calculation. For example, here we don't need the part that is below the ground. So select the bottom part and move it up. Just about there. Oh yeah, because I've done my changes in edit mode, the origin is at the bottom. So I don't know if that matters or not, but go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. Now the origin is at the center of the object. The cube is gonna be our domain, so rename it domain. Now we got something to represent the domain and the emitter. Then we need to give them some physics properties. Let's start with the domain. Go to physics property here, fluid, and choose domain. Leave everything as default and select the emitter. Same thing, fluid, and this time flow. We're gonna start with by the default parameters. Yeah, we can't see very well because of the image background from the camera. So let's disable it. And now rewind it, and we can see that something is happening. And the simulation stopped at frame 70. This is because of the animation we have done previously. The 3D model needed 70 frames, but now we need a longer frame range. So let's change it to, let's say, 150. Okay. Rewind, play again. Okay. So now you can see that we got some kind of smoke that's coming out of the emitter of the sphere. It's a very basic smoke. Let's make it more interesting and have it turn around. So to do that, Shift A, create empty. Where is it? Yeah, here, empty plane axis. Scale it up so that can select it easily. And we need to parent the sphere to the empty. So select the sphere first, shift click the empty, Control P, object keep transform. And now it's parented. If we move the empty, the sphere is following it. Now select the sphere and go to edit mode and move it further away from the empty. I'll move it in X. And now if you rotate the empty along the Z axis, you see now the sphere rotates as well. But I don't want to rotate it manually with keyframes. Let's rotate it with a driver. So press N, and here in Z rotation, right click, and here add driver. And remove this part. And here, right frame. Let's see what we got. So rewind it. And it's rotating too fast. So go back here in Z rotation, double click, and divide it by 10. And now it's too slow. So back here, you can also right click on the Z rotation and edit driver, and let's divide it by 5. Now the rotation speed is better. However, we can see that the smoke doesn't fit with our animation. It's because it has kept the cache from the previous, from what we have done previously. So we need to reset the cache, and I don't know if there is a better way to do that, but what I do is that select the domain, back to physics property, and right at the bottom here I choose in type, choose modular, and then switch it back to replay. And now the cache has been updated, and we got the smoke at the right place. But you can see that the smoke is emitted only at the beginning, and then is not emitted anymore. See, it's emitted only at the beginning. To change that, select the sphere in physics property, and here in flow behavior, choose inflow, and it's gonna emit continuously. So go back. Oh yeah, okay. Need to update the cache again. It's very annoying. So select the domain. At the bottom, choose modular, then back to replay. Play again. Now we got a continuous smoke emitted from the sphere. So now we got some smoke coming out continuously and rotating around the axis, but it's still not something very interesting. So to change a bit, select the sphere, and in physics property, we're gonna give it some initial velocity. So select the sphere, here, initial velocity. Let's just leave it 1 for now. Oh yeah, I need to reset the cache. Select the domain at the bottom, modular, replay. Okay, now we got some interesting animation of the smoke. But it's a bit too crazy, so let's change, let's fix that. First of all, in domain, let's do some optimization. Choose adaptive domain to save some calculation. And here, bottom collision. It's gonna give us a ground collision for free. And now hit play again. Now it looks a bit better. But I can't see very well. Ah yeah, it's because I got the X-ray mode. Hit play again. Okay. It's getting there. we got some interesting smoke coming out. However, we can see that the smoke is limited by the domain. The domain is a bit small, so we need to make it a bit bigger. So select the domain, go to edit mode, Shift Z, scale it. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to reset the cache. Replay and hit play again. It's getting crazy. Still limited by the domain. Let's reduce a bit the buoyancy and the heat. If you want to tweak your smoke, those are parameters to try. The heat and buoyancy, it's to get the smoke coming up. And vorticity, I don't know. I think it's giving you a follow-through animation. Hit play again. Bit crazy again. Let's reduce a bit the vorticity, the initial velocity of the sphere. Try 0.2. Reset the cache. Okay, the smoke is a bit more contained now, but it's still quite. We got too much smoke. Oh, okay, I see. It's because the voxel size is too big. Because we have increased the. This is a voxel size, and the voxel is like a pixel for volume. And like for pictures, the more pixel you have and the smaller it is, the better quality is the picture. And the same applies to the for voxels. The smaller the voxel is, the better the volume will be. And here we can see that the voxel is quite big because we have increased the main size, and it has increased the voxel size as well. So now the voxel is too big. So to counteract the big size of the voxel due to the scale of the domain, we need to increase the resolution here in domain resolution. Let's try and increase it to 128. Now it's better. And now we got something that is much less crazy. Okay, we have managed to get some smoke turning around. Now let's see how to make it turn around our characters. So select the camera and bring back the image background. And actually I got better idea. Disable the image and the background image, and bring back the proxies. Yeah, now you can see better. We need to have the smoke rotate around both characters, so the center of rotation should be just between the two characters. So go to top view, press 7, and select the empty, select the domain, and move everything so that the center, the empty, is located just between the two proxies, the two character proxies, just about there. Let's see if our sphere, yeah, it's outside both of them. And actually I need to Update the cache again. And now we can see that the smoke is turning around the two characters. I think we still got too much smoke. Let's change the emitter actually. We don't need to have we don't need the emitter to be below the ground, so move it up and reduce the size. By the way, I changed it in edit mode because otherwise I would need to apply the changes if I do it in object mode. So I prefer to do it in edit mode so that I don't need to pay attention to apply modification or not. So let's update the cache and see what we got. And now it's much better. It's not acting as crazy as before. And it's a bit more controlled now. Let's check again. Yeah, the smoke, the quantity of the smoke is much better. And the animation is quite good. We might want to decrease the smoke after some time, so let's dissolve a bit. And let's put 100. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, why not? Okay. Leave it to 100. What can we do? Oh yeah. We can see that we got some stepping with the smoke. There is some jump between each smoke emission. So to fix that, you need to increase the time step. For now, we got the maximum 4 and minimum 1. And let's increase the minimum to, let's say, 2. Let's try. Don't want to put too much, because otherwise it's gonna be very slow. And now it's much better. We can't see the stepping anymore. Can't see the jump between each emission. Now it's emitting continuously without any jump. So yeah, the animation looks quite nice. Looks like we got some interesting shape for the smoke. And let's try to render it to see what we got. And we can't see anything except the emitter. And actually, I don't even want to see the emitter. Oh yeah, actually, here in compositing, we need to. I will explain more about compositing in part 4. But for now, just please bear with me and plug it back to the render layer, to this layer, yeah. And the viewer as well. You can Control-Shift-Click on the viewer, and it's gonna plug it automatically. So render again. Oh yeah, let's disable the emitter. I don't want it to be rendered, so disable here as well. For disable it here for rendering. Now if we press render again, and we can't see anything. We can't see the smoke because we don't have any material. for it. So to give the material to the smoke, need to apply it to the domain. So select the domain, and here in shader editor, create a new material, call it smoke. By default, it's giving you a principal BSDF. You can delete it. Shift A and create a new shader. It's a principal volume. And plug it not to the surface, but to the volume. Make it white. And let's see what we got. And now we got some smoke being rendered. However, in cycles, the volume rendering is very slow. So for now, let's change it to EV. Hit render. And here you can see it's very fast, but smoke is too light, and you can see the ground. In EV, we don't have the option to get a shadow catcher. Here we can see we don't have the shadow catcher. While and I'll show you. Let's get back to cycles. I'll show you. Here, object properties. Here you can see shadow catcher. And in EV, you need to get a workaround to get. You need to do a workaround to get a shadow catcher. I won't be bothered to do it here, so let's just disable the ground. So hit render again. The smoke is too light, so let's increase the density. Set 10 and hit render. Okay, yeah, it's better. Now we can see something. And render path, choose a new path to export our animation. I made a folder called smoke. Now let's render the whole animation. Go to render animation. And you can see that the rendering is very fast. It's quite convenient to render smokes in EV to iterate fast. If there is something wrong in your animation, there are some parameters you want to try to check the behavior, it's better to do it in EV to get a fast result. And then once you are happy with the smoke animation, once everything is okay, then you can do your final render in cycles. Okay, rendering is done, and I'm quite happy with the animation. I like the behavior of the smoke simulation. I could go and render in cycles now, but there is one last thing that we still need to do. Later in the scene, we are gonna have a shield, and the smoke needs to be outside the shield. We want the smoke to collide with the shield. So for now we don't have a shield yet, but let's create a proxy, and the center of the shield should be the center of the rotation. So move the 3D cursor to the empty, so Shift S, cursor to selected, and now we can add something to represent the shield. So Shift A, UV sphere, scale it up, go to X-ray. Okay. Now the sphere, now the shield covers both characters' proxies. Increase it a bit, and we can see that it's just touching our emitter, which is what I want. So enable shield proxy. Make it smooth actually. And just in case, give it some. Not sure if that matters, but subdivision surface, where is it? Yeah, it's here. And now to make the smoke collide, we need to give some physics property as well. So select the shield proxy, physics property, fluid, and this time choose effector. And by default is giving you a collision effect. Okay, let's hit play again. We can disable the proxy now. Hit play again. Okay, now it looks like it's calculating everything, and it's taking the collision into account. Yeah, we can see the shape of the sphere. And we can see that the smoke is acting outside the sphere. So yeah, it's an interesting shape. Okay, I will let it cache the 150 frames, and then I will render it in cycles. And yeah, I also and I forgot to say that maybe you're wondering why we didn't do any collision for the ground. And as I said before, here when you select the domain and here border collision, I choose the bottom collision to simulate the ground. So it's already taking into account the ground collision. I don't need to do that for the ground proxy. Okay, now it has finished caching the 150 frames. Let's hit render to check everything is okay. And yeah, I forgot to disable the shield in rendering as well. Where is it? Here. Disable. Render. And I think I'm gonna render it straight away in cycles. So back to cycles. Not sure if there is any parameters to optimize the rendering for volumes. So I'll just leave everything as it is and hit render. Here, render animation. And here we can see that in cycles it's much slower. So that's why I prefer to check if your animation is correct. It's better to do it in EV first, and then once you are happy with the animation, then once you are happy with everything, I switch back in cycles for the final rendering. So now I'll let it finish rendering and I will see you when it's done. Okay, rendering is finished. You can see smoke is quite dense actually. And here we can see the resolution is not that good. You can see some voxels coming out. You can see the shape of the voxel at the beginning. Okay, close it. So first density, let's put it back to 1. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's much better. It was too dense before. Yeah, okay, cool. It's better. And let's check it at the beginning where we could see the voxel. And looks like it's... Yeah, we don't have this problem anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna render everything again in cycles, and I'll see you when it's finished. Okay, so while I'm at it, so while I had to render everything again, I took the opportunity to increase the resolution. However, when I increase it to 256, then it would be very slow to cache, and I don't want to lose my time for that. So I've increased the resolution to 192 and rendered it again in cycles, and this is what I got. So I'm quite happy with this smoke simulation. We can see the shape of the shield, and it's acting. The smoke is behaving outside of it. The smoke animation is quite nice. Got some interesting shape coming out. There is a high chance that your smoke simulation doesn't look like mine, because there are several parameters that influence the behavior of the smoke. As I told you, there is a buoyancy, the heat, vorticity, but also the size of your domain, the size of your emitter. So play around with those parameters, and I hope you will get the kind of animation that you want. And that's it for this part. So congratulations to you if you have managed to come this far. I hope you have managed to get the kind of smoke that you wanted. In the next part, we'll work on the shield. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.